How's it going,
bro? How we doing?
Good to see you. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
All right. For those of you who don't know, who are you and what do you do for a living?
So my name is Russ Smoot. I've been in sales for 11 years. I sell cameras and security and teach guys how to sell camera and security door to door.
And you just bought this Urus. How long ago?
Maybe like a month ago.
A month ago.
Yeah.
Freshly new.
Brand new.
New tax write-off.
New write-off.
To end off the year.
Yep. Had to do it. You want to check it out real quick?
Little ride?
Let's do a little ride.
Let's run a little ride.
All right, let's do it.
Let's run it. Do any of these people ever get mad?
Not yet.
Never get mad. He's gonna take out one of these Amazon trucks one day.
You're gonna take me out, bro.
All right, that was sick.
Pretty sick, right?
Now we're back to the office. Might as well run a little office tour.
Let's do it. Let's check
run
it out. All right, so coming in here, we have a pretty open office culture. We don't have like any specifically assigned offices. So you've got like, you know, this is technically Adam's office. We'll cruise in here. We'll meet with people, sit down. We've got like ping pong over here, just for the chill vibes. Putt. We can putt.
Little putt, little golf.
We're getting ready for our Christmas party. So that's why you see like all this Christmas decor getting thrown in.
Yeah.
Right here, like last week we had 40 people in here. We were training them how to sell every day, morning and night. And back here, we got a conference room. This is all the boring part.
Yeah.
But then when you flip right here, this is where we have a good time.
This is crazy. How have you guys run up ones in here?
We threw a huge 3v3 tournament like a year ago, which is how we got a hole in the wall there and a hole in the wall there.
No way.
We had dudes in here dunking, like college athletes.
Yeah, they pulled up.
We put money up and we had like a crazy 3v3, but we'll do like knockout, start a meeting with knockout, or we'll do like $100 knockout. Whoever wins gets $100.
So what better way to end off a little sale day with some basketball? I didn't realize how tall the ceilings, dude.
And it's the warehouse.
That's insane.
Come back around through here. These are all just offices. We have, like I said, open office culture. So most of these are not assigned. I work out of this one the most. These are getting prepped for Christmas. That's going to be a podcast room.
Nice.
Got a group that works out of that office. And this is a podcast room. This is pretty cool. I guess I can show this.
Yeah.
We got like full podcast set up in here.
Dude.
Where you can drop in, film some content. Yep.
That's sick.
And we come through here. We don't always go over here because we sell it. We don't manage this warehouse stuff, but it's cool to see like all the parts coming together, right? So we come in here. Dude. We got full warehouse. All of the equipment can flow through here. This is just one of the hubs, but you've got like the cameras, the panels, all the security sensors. If someone orders online, there's a whole packing station down there, and so pretty crazy. So that's our world. Like I said, we don't really touch this side. This is managed.
Yeah, it's managed.
It does itself. So.
Obviously, you haven't been in sales your entire life. What path did you take to get into sales?
So I was in college.
Yeah.
And had a lot of buddies going to sell, and I told them no over and over and over again.
So you didn't want to sell?
My dad kind of was like, hey, don't get a commission job when I was younger.
Yeah. Just
because it wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
And I learned that later. It just wasn't his thing, and so it's like he was like trying to guide me to what had worked for him.
Yeah.
But I was in college. I broke up with a girl. I was pretty broke. Like I couldn't pay the rent anymore because I kind of cut things off with my dad.
Yeah.
And not like in a bad way, just like, hey, I want to just do my own thing, right?
Getting a little older, had to.
Like, I don't want to have you paying for anything anymore. And then I was super, super broke. I broke up with this girl, and I was like, I mean, what do I have to lose? Like, I'm just going to go try this sales thing these guys are doing. Yeah. Called up my buddy, and I was like, hey, are you still selling or whatever? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, line me up with your manager. We can check it out. Dove in, did a summer of sales back in the day. Made like 30 grand over the summer.
And that was your first summer?
That was my first summer.
30K.
Yep, 30K.
3 months.
Yep, I did a 2.5 month summer that year.
Dude.
Came back to college, felt pretty rich with 30 grand.
Yeah.
Right?
Rich college student.
Yeah, I was like, bro, dude, okay, let's go, you know? Realized it wasn't that much, but they were like, hey, you can be a manager.
And build out a sales team.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I was like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you just got to learn to like hire people and train them and do all that. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. And so the next year I made 60 grand and just like kind of went up from there.
60 grand the next year.
Yeah.
You mentioned you were in college, but obviously you don't need a college degree to work in sales.
Right.
And we talked before, and you ended up dropping out of college.
Correct.
Since you've had experience in and out of college, What advice would you give to someone looking to get out of college, maybe pursue a sales career like this?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me was figuring myself out. I think people don't have themselves figured out all the way. So that's why they're in college. They don't want to be in college. They're not sure what they want to do with their life. But if you like want to try sales and get into sales, you just got to jump in and try it. You got to be okay. Like I tell people all the time, worst case scenario, you try it, you suck, and you're broke just like you are right now. Or you try it and you're good and you make money.
Yep.
And then you're like, dude, I'm good at sales. If people are trying to try different stuff, you got to just try stuff.
Some people are a little bit too scared to pitch their idea, maybe to investors or maybe to go sell or try a new job. Even if you fail at whatever you're wanting to pursue, you're just back exactly where you started. There is no difference.
Yeah, like the worst thing that could happen is that it doesn't work. And maybe you lose a little bit of money. Yeah. But most people don't have enough money to lose anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. You have one of the most impressive sales teams that I've seen personally. What are some of the traits that you need to run and operate such a successful sales team?
Well, that's a good question. It's something I've worked on over the years. I don't know that I'm ever done getting better.
Yeah.
But I would say like some of the main traits you need transparency. Guys don't operate well without transparency.
Yeah.
You need honesty. And you got to be like alpha mentality. I've talked a lot about with my guys, like A players can train and manage A players, but if you're a B or a C player, you're never going to get A players. A players might come through, they'll quit. So if you want to have like an A player team and you're not an A player, you need to become an A player.
That's actually a bridge to my next question. Do you think that you were born a leader, or was that something that you had to develop over time?
I think I was born with traits. Like any of us are born with traits, but I don't believe that we're born anything. I think that we choose what we want to become, we pursue it. So most of the things I have now are because of all of the things I've done in my life.
So I wanted to know what the story behind learning your most valuable lesson is.
A good question, kind of a hard question.
Yeah, it is hard.
I've learned a lot of lessons over the years.
Yeah.
But the story is, so back in 2018, I officially moved to Texas, and I had, for understanding, I had franchised a dealer. So I was running like a dealer for AT&T and DirecTV. I'd signed a 3-year lease, so I had my own office. It was over on your side, over on the other side of town.
Okay, cool.
1 year in, they forced a merger on us. Things like fell apart, and I'm stuck with a 3-year lease on an office space. Yeah. I'm engaged, I'm like ready to get married, and I just had to scramble and figure things out, which I did just fine, right? But the big lesson that I've learned and that I've kept for a long time is that the one loyalty you need to put first is loyalty to yourself. There's a lot of like, hey, be loyal to your people, be loyal to this. If that loyalty interferes with the loyalty you need to have to yourself, then you need to check it. And ever since then, like, it's not that I come first, me and my family come first, right? But if people are trying to push me to do something or trying to get me to do something, I'm checking like, am I being loyal to myself with this thing? Or is this just me feeling like I need to be loyal to these people to do this?
100%. I think there's a lot of people out there who have been taught so much to be nice to other people and kind to other people, which is no problem with that. But I think it becomes a problem when it's to the detriment of your own like well-being and how you treat yourself and how you love yourself, and people forget all about that when it comes to putting other people first. And sometimes I think you need to be selfish. Sometimes
I think that selfish has a really, really negative connotation for no reason. Yeah. But I think that like putting yourself first allows you to put other people first.
Exactly. It all intertwines.
Right. Like if you're not feeling good, you're not healthy, you're not making money, like how could you support a family?
Exactly.
But if you only put your family, it's funky because it's not all family, but like if you don't go grind and have some of those times where you have to leave your family to work, then you can't support your family.
Exactly. It all intertwines.
First, I would say like for a long time, I was so loyal that it was to my own detriment.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
For sure.
What do you think helped you grow out of that?
I think that in like 2016, 17, I was very heavy in CrossFit, which means like eating healthy. It means working out more than most people work out. And I learned to say no. Like
I think that's one of the most things people struggle with too.
Like, hey, we're going to the movies tonight. Well, I got another workout.
Yeah.
You already worked out today, bro. I know, but like, that's what I'm doing. Come on, man. Yeah. No, bro, I'm good. Like, hey, dude, you ate freaking chicken and broccoli all day. Like, just have this ice cream with us tonight. Yeah. No, bro.
One of the most comments that I get about myself personally is people will say, hey, you're living your life so serious. You're taking it so serious. Yeah. And my response to that is, and you aren't. And that's the entire point.
Right. I would say that I still have a long ways to go.
Of course, everybody does.
Like, I have what I have because of the seriousness I've put on getting where I want to go.
If you want a different life, like people talk about wanting to make change or they want their life to change, well, in order for change to happen, change literally has to happen. And I think that's what people just don't, they comprehend and they understand it, but they don't internalize it.
I recently watched this video someone posted, I don't remember what it was, and it reminded me of how important it is to realize that we're just like a program. You know, I've read books and studied stuff and worked on changing things because my programming wasn't giving me the results I wanted.
It's interesting.
So like if I reprogram this thing, delete this and add this, like that's what makes me better. It's just understanding like I've got little things plugged into how I am that I can change, and I'm not just one way. And I'll never say like that's just how I am.
Yeah.
I'll say that's how I've been, or like, hey,
That's how I was.
that's how I've been up to this point. Like,
What do you think a good example of that would be?
well, I would say like I'm not necessarily a morning person as much as people are always like, dude, you got to be a morning person. But I've started saying like I wasn't a morning person.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, I could be a morning person, or
Totally.
like, well, I stay up late. That's why I don't wake up early. It's not
Yeah.
that I'm not a morning person. I just choose to stay up late. So like,
Exactly.
it's all my own choices, and it's my own fault if I'm a certain way.
Dude, so I'm one of the biggest believers in there is no such thing as like a thing when people talk about stuff like that. Being a morning person, a night person, any of that stuff. I don't think any of that's real.
Right.
It's all just what you tell yourself. It's all like a manifestation.
Well, most of the things that we know are the things that are talked about the most, right? And who's talking about things the most? Buddy.
Everybody.
And if you don't want to be like everybody, then you can't think and feed into what everybody
Yeah,
says.
totally.
But then you have to be like ostracized and feel weird when you're at like little get-togethers and stuff.
Yeah, I know, always. Like there's a lot of people out there, I've made a video about this before, but a lot of people out there, they want to have some glamorous house that's beautiful, and they want to stand out, they want their house to stand out. They're going to make it. Every teenage boy, and especially nowadays with how the culture is,
Yeah.
every teenage boy thinks they're going to make it.
Right.
And they talk about these houses and having these cool cars that stand out. But when it comes to standing out within a crowd or within a party in the high school setting, college setting, they think that's weird. They think to stand out is weird.
Right.
But
That
it
can't
doesn't
be
make
different.
sense.
I don't want to go against the grain. You literally have to go against the
You
grain.
literally have to go against the grain if you want to be literally against the grain. People struggle with digging one step deeper to know the reality of how things actually are.
Well, it's an awareness thing. Sometimes people want what they're not aware of, right?
You know, only 20% of the world's population has self-awareness within a conversation and
that
within a society. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Only 20%.
But you notice it.
You notice it.
But you can develop it, right? That's that thing where it's like, well, I'm just not a self-aware person.
That's not real. None of that's real. There's no such thing as like a connotation like that. It's not real.
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't say I was always self-aware like I am now. It's developed over time. You
Yeah.
develop it by getting out and just pushing yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, trying
Exactly.
things.
Exactly. The number one thing I've learned this is that if you want to become someone who is successful, you have to think about someone who is successful. Think about someone that you want to be like and live your life exactly how they would live their life. If you want to plan to go out, would that person go out? And when you're out, or whatever you're doing, make the decision based off that person making that decision and how they would make the decision.
Right.
And eventually you'll reach the point where you start naturally making those positive decisions for yourself. And you actually develop into that person who is the person who you really are.
It's crazy. Person who you really are. Isn't that interesting? Or the person who you chose to become.
Yeah, it is. It's who you chose to become.
I've actually talked about that for a long time. It's like, hey, pick someone that you admire.
Yeah.
Pick a few people that you admire. Like, what are their traits? What do they do? I've done this since I was like 18. I wasn't
Yeah.
even in sales successful yet. I'd like, hey, what are the traits of this person? How
Yep.
can I become like this person? And it's
should-
interesting that like most of the time people write, well, this person would wake up early and this person would eat this for breakfast and this. Most of it's how they think.
Yeah, it's all internal. It's all how you think.
It's not like what they're doing. It's like,
It's not the physicalities. It's all the mental game.
what do they do when things suck?
Yeah,
That's a habit.
100%.
Not like I wake up every morning at 6 a.m.
And it's one of those things where it's another step deeper, where it could be maybe this person does wake up early, but what is it that drives them to wake up early? It's just
Right.
that step deeper
Yeah.
that people like fail to internalize.
And then you keep going deeper every time.
I feel like there's a lot of kids nowadays who think about becoming successful, and they all have that internal belief that they are going to be successful, but there's no real like warning behind that. They don't really understand what success really is and the things that come with it. If we were to pretend that there's a kid out there who is not successful yet, but for whatever reason we know that he's going to be 100% in this fantasy world, what warnings would you give to him about becoming successful?
Warnings, that's deep. Okay, warnings. I would say like guys don't realize how much pain they need to feel, so you need to be okay with pain.
Yeah.
Most of that's mental pain, but like you're probably not going to automatically make $1 million like that. You're not going to be automatically like successful without pain, without growing, without messing things up.
Yeah.
And you've got to be ready to fail. You got to be ready to fall on your face. You got to be ready to restart and be okay with it. And you probably got to be ready to do things that you don't think you're worthy to do. You might think you're like better than. And if there's anything I've learned over the years, it's you're never too good to do something.
Yeah, you even say that you go door to door even today.
Yeah, how else am I supposed to teach relevant sales things if the market's changing?
Yeah. I think it all comes down to an ego thing. People think they're better than whatever it is that they really have to get into.
Well, like, what's the best leader?
He's in it. He's in the middle of it.
The best leader is literally like Leonidas fighting the fight with his 300. Didn't send them there. He went there with them. So you got to choose like which type of leader you're going to be. And the best leaders do it so they understand it, so they can teach it, so they can continue to do it. And maybe over time you're doing that lead from the front in a different way. But if you can't get yourself in that position, people don't follow you.
Yeah, I saw, it was a clip, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was a clip of Grant Cardone when he was building a sales team. Or no, actually it was Mark Cuban building a sales team. And he put his office desk right in the middle of the main office with everyone else's desks around him. And he was right in the trenches with them.
Sick.
And that's one of the best things I've ever heard. I love that.
Yeah, the other thing too, you got to realize is like the things you do now will come to light way later, right? So like I did a year where I didn't sell with my guys. It was a huge year. But what happened the next couple of years?
It all caught up.
It fell apart. But it didn't fall apart that year. It started to fall apart later, right?
Yeah.
And so you learn from that stuff and you say, cool, like, but I need to be in the trenches with people. I need to be willing to be anywhere, do anything. Like, I'm not too good to learn from anyone. I'm not too good to do the janitor's job, right?
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, like I will do anything, whatever it takes mentality, not I'm too good for that.
Yeah, 100%. One of the best books I've ever read was Good Leaders Eat Last. Have you read that book or heard of that book?
Sinek?
I think so. You know, it talks about, I mean, I think there's a lot of like successful businessmen out here who go years without getting paid if it means that their employees get to get paid.
Yeah.
Which builds the brand and builds the business. That's one of the most important things people have to learn.
Well, you work for free sometimes knowing that the money will come. In 2019, I read a book a week.
Oh, a book a week.
Like
dude, I tried to do that before. I did that a little. I did that for not too long, but it's very hard.
I don't know that it's like the best thing you could do.
It's not necessary, but it is very cool.
It's cool. But what I realize, and this is to that point that you're talking about, is that the results of that aren't instant, right? So like I could read Good Leaders Eat Last, and it might be something I become over years, and I remember it. Like you maybe read it a year ago.
100%.
You're still talking about it, right?
Yep.
So like guys that get into things, it's just such a fast world. Like, dude, I want to make money tomorrow. I want to make money next month. I want to be making $500,000 a month in 6 months. It's like, dude, give it time. Like work hard for it to happen in 6 months, but don't be like so down and disappointed when it doesn't. Like just keep grinding. Eventually it just kind of starts adding up and it starts to work out.
Yeah, I think that whole like I want to get money quick thing, I think that mindset ideology just comes from a lack of knowledge when it comes to business, a lack of knowledge when it comes to money. They think that that's like a possible outcome, and it's really not. It's possible, sure, but it's not probable at all.
Well, the social media makes it look like it just happened.
Yeah, that's the overnight. People think that's what goes down.
But you look at like, I mean, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, those guys.
Yeah.
Like how long have they been making content?
Dude, ages, since they were younger.
Bro, they've been doing content since they were like kids at home, you know? So, okay, cool, now they're super successful. People can't do it that long.
No.
Even me doing social media, for example, which I'm new to.
Yeah.
I've been trying over the years. It's not in the ability to do it, it's in the ability to do it over and over and over and over again.
Back to the point that you touched on a couple minutes ago, when you talked about going through pain, going through stress, anxiety, stuff like this. A thought that I've always had is that people tend to like hate stress and anxiety and stressful situations, but there's no success without growth, and there is no growth without feelings of uncomfortability. And the feelings of uncomfortability stem from being anxious and stressed out, which is really manifesting stress and anxiety to be at the root of our success. And I think a lot of people don't understand that it really is like the base model, and it is the ground that we base our success off of.
Well, if you're constantly pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, then you're stressed a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can't be mad about the plate being full when that's what you wanted in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But it's like, yeah, if your plate's full, you're being successful, you're going to be feeling a little overloaded sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely feel overloaded sometimes.
Yeah. I think
and my wife will see that and she'll be like, what the heck? I'm like, we just have a lot going on right now.
Yeah, and if it's, you want the successful lifestyle, you want to live the life that we can live, then you have to understand that we're going to have to go through these things.
Yeah, but the reality is too, like, you adjust. So people can't be in that state long enough to have it become normal, right? So they're in the state of stress until they're like, okay, cool, now we don't have to be in this state anymore, and they like take things off their plate to do that. But if you keep your plate full and get used to it that way, it's no longer that way anymore.
Yeah, then it's just a regular thing.
You just adjust to the new.
Yeah, you might be stressed out, but it's how you're living, and it is totally fine.
Like, I mean, we just had a third kid, for example. He's maybe 7 weeks old. He might be almost 8 weeks old now. And when you first add another kid to the house, it's a new challenge. There's more going on, and you're still trying to maintain everything else. Like, we've still probably not fully gotten out of like that we're stressed out having another kid.
Yeah, of course.
Right? But eventually you adjust to that. Right? They say like, don't wait till you're ready to have a kid. You'll just have to get ready once you have a kid. But all the success in sales and all that's not much different. It's like you need to just kind of like bite off more than you can chew and then figure it out. Talk a bigger game than you're able to perform, and then go perform as much as you can.
Dude, I actually have a story behind that where I think I've made a video about this before as well. When I was 17, I was wanting to make a workout app, and so I was living in Utah at the time, and I was talking to this like entrepreneur lady who like runs social media and sells like it's like some fitness stuff that she does, and I was talking to her about how I wanted to make a workout app. And sell it on like a monthly subscription, because I've dropped workout programs before in the past. But I was like, I don't really have the funding to build a whole app that I really want. And so I was like pushing it out. She told me just do it that day. Like just put it out today. And I was like, I do have the files I could literally post it on a website right now. It won't be an app, but I could post it and put it out as long as I market it well. And it was something that I wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't ready to do it. But that was the whole point of me doing it, was that I wasn't ready. And there is no time that you're going to be ready, but you just have to do stuff when you're not ready. And we only had it up for a week because it was a week-long campaign that we had, and we ended up making $12,000 that week. Situations where you're high anxiety, high stress, you are forced to act. Your natural instincts kick in and things start happening.
The warning to go with that is, though, if you're going to do it, back it up, right? Because the other side of that is the people that just quit because they overload. So I've had both types, right? I've had guys, I'm like, dude, go buy that car because it's going to light a fire under you.
Right.
And some guys, if they go buy that car, it actually bogs them down.
Yeah.
Because they feel overstressed, like what is it, they call it, distress?
Yeah,
so it's like sometimes you just got to do it. I think most people, if you really want to be successful, you just have to do it. But then you gotta have a good follow through.
I think it all just comes down to identifying yourself and like your personal needs.
Yeah.
Understanding what you need, 100%.
Like let's if you launched that, but you couldn't keep up with the orders as they came through, you wouldn't have made 12 grand.
No.
But you knew you could. Like I can keep up with it.
Luckily in that it was automated.
Yeah.
But it's funny, we have a business where we sell actual physical products.
Yeah.
And our first few months into it, bro, we could not keep up. Like people were getting their orders probably 2 months after they ordered it, and it was so bad we were not ready for it at all. But it was another one of those situations where like we put it out without being fully ready. And so it kind of sucked for a little bit, but now we're good. Now we do have the inventory. You know, you can always overcome a situation that you might not be ready for if you put yourself in it.
100%.
It forces you to act.
And I think that like you're always having to do that, like no matter what level you're at, right?
Yeah, it's true.
There's like always something that's like, oh, dude, I'm not sure about this thing. Like I have 100 of these right now. This hat that I'm wearing, I haven't even told it. Like it's not known that I have 100 of them. I've got 100 hoodies coming, 100 socks. I don't have all my inventory yet, but you make a good point. That's something I don't understand super well, so I'm like waiting. But
like, might as well hop into it.
Launch it, right?
Yeah.
So there's always one of those things where it's like, just do it, figure it out.
My favorite concept is that people are worried about putting themselves through life situations that are going to be hard for them, but you're already here and you're already in the struggle. It's already hard.
Yeah.
So might as well, like, if you're going to be living, might as well like actually choose to be living, because you're already here without a choice. Might as well flip your mindset to, okay, I'm going to choose to put myself through these situations. Now you're in control. That's a whole manifestation of you being able to control your success in your life, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there's the classic like pain of discipline or pain of regret, right?
100%. I love that.
It's like such a boring, bland one, but it's super true. Like, like which pain do you want? Like I've been like working out and trying to get like back down trimmed a little bit, and my in-laws always have like cookies and dessert and food and all that, and I literally almost ate a cookie like last night. And my wife was like, "You're gonna eat a cookie?" And I was like, "Nope." not.
Good.
I would rather be fit than enjoy a cookie right now.
Yep.
Right.
I think this might be like a negative connotation, but when it comes to dieting, I think people won't like this hearing it online, but the whole concept of nothing will ever taste as good as looking good feels. Which is a crazy concept. It might be negative for people who might have like an eating disorder. But an eating disorder to me is another one of those things that doesn't exist.
It's a label.
Exactly. You can't label things. You label things, it's done for.
Yeah, the second you say I have, then you're choosing to like just fall to that thing.
Exactly. Same thing when it comes to people. I think, this is another touchy subject, but the whole like depression stuff, I think you can be depressed, but you can't label yourself as being depressed long term. You can be sad.
It's the labels that kill you. I think you can go through ups and downs and you can experience all of that.
Yeah.
And maybe we don't understand it because we don't deal with it. So like I have a little sensitivity there. You know what I mean?
Well, me personally, I think I have. And I've gone through situations where I have.
Where you've been down.
Yeah. Well, I've gone through situations where I thought I was depressed for months, and I click out of it. I'm like, hey, you have to genuinely make the decision to get up out of bed, even though you're tired, even though like you feel like you can't get up out of bed because you have no motivation. You are physically in control of your body.
Well, but if you create habits of like showing up and you load your plate heavy enough, you don't have time to get depressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you might feel for a second, like, dude, I was in Cleveland, Ohio. I had a whole sales team in Cleveland. We were growing the market.
Yeah.
My wife and kids were up there. I was overloaded. Like I was way overloaded.
Yeah.
And I had this one moment. I didn't have enough time to feel for very long, but I had a moment. I literally shut myself in the closet, sat on the ground, and I was like, oh my freaking gosh, right? Like it's a reality we all go through.
Yeah.
But I only had so much time, and I had to start a meeting. So I sat in the closet for a second. I felt it for a second, and I said, all right, let's get back to work. Boom, move on.
I think that you need moments like that.
For sure.
You need to be able to sit there and internalize how you're feeling and feel how you're feeling. But as long as you don't mope in that for days and weeks and months, as long as you're sitting there and you feel what you need to feel and you get back after it, there are no problems.
Yeah. So to do things we want to do, there's like a little bit of forcing yourself to do things, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Especially at first, like you want to do, I don't know, like everyone's like into fitness. There's so much parallel with fitness and success. That's why it's so common. But people are so successful in fitness but can't get successful in business.
Dude, yeah.
It's such a weird thing, right?
Yep.
Because like the pain of business and success is mostly mental.
It's all internal.
And fitness is, but people think that like working hard is always physical. Some of the hard work is just like your own limitations in your brain.
It's forcing yourself to not literally just give up on everything when it's so hard.
Right.
When you're in the gym, you're forcing yourself not to just drop the weight. And it's entirely different.
Well, you can get yourself in the gym and within like 10 minutes have momentum in the gym, right? Yeah. You start sweating, you're working out. Where getting successful in most things isn't 10 minutes in.
It's literally years.
So,
months.
Yeah, and that's where people are like, people will base their success on how fit they are. Mm-hmm. I've met plenty of people like that, and then I bring them in to sell, and they literally can't get themselves to do this or anything because they just want to be.
Yeah, I think too many kids nowadays especially will think they're being productive within their day, meaning they go to the gym for 2 hours and then they get back and they're like, yeah, I'm different than anybody else because
Chalk it up, I got a W, right, on the day. Yeah,
but that's all you did.
Right.
People who are actually highly successful, they go to the gym because that's what they need to do to be able to stay mentally clear.
Part of their day,
It's a completely different thing.
But I've been in that too. Like I was so CrossFit and so workout heavy that when I first started selling again, like I took a little break from it, I couldn't quit working out. Like I literally like wanted to work out. I was like fit. I was eating my chicken and almonds and broccoli. I was like drinking lots of water.
It's one of the best situations to be in.
But I was obsessed with working out and I wasn't selling very much. And I had a whiteboard. This is a story people have heard before, but I had a whiteboard. I had workouts all over it. Had like someone with a barbell like I had drawn. Yeah. And one day I just erased it. And I wrote More Money, More Freedom on it. This was like 2016.
Yeah.
And I made a decision that day, like, I'm all in on pursuing this. And I just dove deep, and that was, what is that now? 7 years ago?
Dude.
So.
It's all based on what you internalize.
Yeah. This is from managing the #1 office for new rep production. Yeah. So rookie reps, teaching them how to sell. This was an MVP award I got for a combination of things, developing rookies, office production, management group, and I recruited the #1 rookie in FP, meaning they sold the #1 rookie in a certain category. This is like for being a good director, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember super specific. Top rookie leader from a few years ago. An area director award, 1,000 accounts as an area director. This is also a 200 club award.
So obviously a lot of these come down to you just being a good leader and being able to manage people.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you think you learned those skills? How did you develop those skills?
Well, I read, but I apply really well. I think it's part of it. So, like, one of my best books this last year was The Score Takes Care of Itself, where it talks about building a culture and a structure to where you're not worried about the sales numbers. You're not pushing people to sell. You're pushing the right vibes and the right culture and environment for them to sell.
Yep.
And then the score takes care of itself. I specifically made some decisions out of my comfort zone with like rookies where we started winning rookie awards.
Yeah.
That they had to shadow me, which means I have to sell.
Wow.
Right? And so in order for them to learn, they shadowed me and then they did well.
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, go shadow this person. Now our new problem is our growth. Not everyone can shadow me. So now we're in a spot where it's like, okay, now we've got to figure out who's the next me's.
Yeah, who's the next leader?
Who can be me?
Who can,
And that's our current growth problem. We've had, let's see, we had this leaderboard up yesterday. We have 60-something new reps signed to sell in like the last like 2 months.
That's crazy.
So managing that's the next problem we're dealing with.
That's crazy. How do you guys adapt to changing market trends when it comes to like people buying stuff like maybe they buy a Ring camera versus a whole home security from Vivint?
Well, the best way to adapt is to be out there and see it yourself.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I say, like, if I'm not doing this, I don't see the trends, I don't see the changes. I can catch them really quick.
Yeah.
And I can come back to the training the next day and be like, this is what I saw. We're going to change our pitch from this to this. And this is how we're selling right now.
Yep.
We've been in like all kinds of different places where it's like, hey, they're not buying security here at all. They're only buying cameras. So we're going to talk about cameras only.
Yep.
Or, hey, they don't care about all the cameras. All they want is a doorbell camera. So we're going to focus on the other piece of the system.
Yep.
And you only learn that by getting out there. You can't like study something and figure it out.
You got to be in it and see it.
Yeah.
There's no one making software to tell you what people are buying and whatnot, really.
Oh, and there's no one making like Instagram reels telling you what's going on. Like, you can't like, you just have to go figure it out.
You can't.
That's an obstacle in most things is like people don't want to do that part.
You don't think that that's a part of growing. I think people just think about the end goal and they don't think about getting there.
Right, typically you have to have a little bit of loss to have the gain, right?
Yeah.
You might have to have a bad sales day to figure out how you're selling in a specific place so that you can have everyone have good sales days. I would say like a lot of people definitely want supercars, but like I think that like the intentions are always wrong. Yeah. Not always. But if you look at like people that are like heavy in supercars, most of the time we've like bought them for ourselves.
Right.
Like we like it. We enjoy it. It makes us like happy.
There's a lot of people though that even goes into business, it goes into everything, where the main driving factor to want to succeed is literally for the benefits of other people when no one actually cares. You think they're going to like look at your success and think you're so awesome when literally no one cares at all. No one cares about what you're doing.
Well, most people, actually this is from a book, this isn't my own point. Mm-hmm. Most people see the car and want the car and they don't care who's driving it.
What book is that? I've literally read that before.
No way, you read that book?
Oh, Psychology of Money.
It could be in Psychology. Wait, it is in Psychology of Money.
Yeah, Psychology of Money.
Yeah, okay, you read that book.
Yeah.
That is in Psychology of Money. They don't care.
No, they don't care at all. They all say, hey, look at that Urus out there. Look at that, so sick of Urus.
Bro, they're not thinking Urus.
Yeah.
Some people, I think, do wonder who drives it.
I do. I always do, personally.
I think that is a thing that book might be wrong about, but I do think that like most of the time when I've seen cars, I wonder who's driving them, but I'm literally like, I'm going to get my own.
Yeah. So you've been in sales for, what, 7-8 years now?
11.
11 years.
Yep, 11 years of sales.
Okay, so you always started in selling door to door.
Yep.
And then you stayed in door to door while building sales teams.
Yep.
So you've gotten to a very significant point in your career. Okay, so maybe like you started here and you're here, but what does here look like? What's the end goal for you?
Well, I believe in having like a good foundation. So where some people would like leave one active income for another.
Yep.
I don't believe in that. I believe you need to keep your good active income, which is what will keep me here a long time.
Yep.
Until it goes away or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But while this is going, I mean, one of my goals is to have a 12-car garage.
Nice.
So like, I don't know if I do a Lambo collection only. Like, I think it'd be sick to go like every Lambo. Like
Yeah.
if you had like an old Countach and
Dude.
a new Countach and like every Lambo, one day that'd be fire.
That would be awesome.
I would do that. Something like that. But I want to have like a 12-car garage. So I'm working for that. One of the goals here is to build this into a large organization to where it is a little bit more passive and more automated, and guys are running their own programs, and I think we're getting there, but it's still like probably a couple years out. This office hasn't even been here it's been here like 2 years.
Yeah, of course you want to get to a point where you can step out almost completely and have it be able to function without you managing.
Yep, doing that, and then there's a lot of things I want to just experience. Yes, I care about the money, but like I want to franchise something as far like, I don't know if it's like I wouldn't do a McDonald's, but like a food place.
Yeah, a little restaurant.
I would franchise a restaurant. I would buy someone else's business. Like I have these like little like list of things that I want to do as I make more money, and that's in the plan. You can't get to a 12-car garage without like doing other things on the side.
I think it all comes down to like, I think when you talk about big numbers like that, most of the time it's going to come down to buying and selling companies.
Buying, selling companies, real estate, buying and selling real estate.
What is it? So 8% of billionaires got their money from real estate. Only 8%.
Yeah.
And 100%, so including that 8%, got it from acquisitions, private equity, buying and selling companies, building and selling companies.
And there's a lot, once you get in a circle of people that are making money, you get access to...
Oh yeah, you get opportunities that you would have never imagined.
But you have to be ready for them.
Yeah. 100%.
Hey, we're going to dump this much money in this. Oh, I don't have it, right? You can be stuck in those situations. The other thing though is like, I think that like a lot of people, the whole like 7 streams of income thing that's like all trendy? But like you gotta have, I think it's a Warren Buffett thing, like you have multiple streams of income. I think most of the younger generation, because I see them, they come in here, they talk to me, they want to like do everything.
Yeah.
And they suck at everything though. So they want to do everything, but they suck at everything.
You have to start at one.
You got to
get good at one.
Get your skill.
Leave that one when it can function by itself.
Yes.
Go to the next.
Right.
You can't start 7 at once.
But that's what people are doing.
Yeah.
Or they're day trading $100.
I was day trading in sophomore year. We joke about this all the time. It's a joke as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's not a high value skill.
Well, you start day trading 10, 20 grand, but even then, like, is that sustainable, right? I mean, it could be, but I mean, my whole point is like, if you want to be successful, you're wanting to pursue like supercars and nice houses and like businesses, you got to get good at something, not everything.
Yeah.
And then go off that. And you don't have to be so picky and so like, oh, what if it's the wrong choice? You need to just dive in, like you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you'll know, but you won't know if you don't try.
You have to think about what you want to make your money and the reason why you want money. The reason, like, I think most people, I'm going to go back to, like, just because I see so many, I am a teenage boy. I know how teenage kids operate now. A lot of people want success and money and cars because that's all they want. Because that's just what they want, but they don't want to work in a business as much as they want the supercar, the nice house.
They don't want the pain; they just want the results.
Yeah, you literally can't get there. You have to think about what you want to make your money. I don't want to have to say that I made my first $1 million day trading or something.
Right.
I'd rather say I made my first $100 million by selling a company.
Right, and also like the flip side to that is like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Not everything you do has to look cool to everyone. Like I would say like embracing door-to-door sales. People don't want to say like I do door-to-door. Okay. I mean like you don't want to make as much money then. Like,
you have to get over yourself.
You said like, okay, dude, that's what I do. It's okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to do other things too.
Yeah. People don't think that they think they're above the grind.
They're above the grind.
And
they only want the cool job. Dude, I got a job at Goldman Sachs. Cool. Enjoy your 90-hour weeks, dude.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I think the number one reason why people not only fail, but they fail in the starting process of becoming successful is because they feel like they deserve something. They feel like the world owes them something.
Yeah.
And that is the quickest way to misery. You think that you're owed anything at all? You think you deserve anything at all? It doesn't matter what you've done.
It doesn't matter what you did yesterday.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. Well, that's the obstacle with college degrees right now too.
How so?
I got a college degree, so I automatically should get this job.
That's what they think.
I got a college degree, so I'm set. I'm good. Right?
That's what they think.
And the number of people I know, this is kind of what happened to me with the college thing.
Yep.
make 60 grand over a summer, go back, and people are getting $60,000 salary offers. And I just made that over the summer, right? And then watching people get degrees that don't get them jobs. To this day, it's worse now than it used to be. Like, okay, what's your English degree going to give you?
No, absolutely nothing.
But people get an English degree, or like an arts degree, or there's so many degrees people get because they want to check the box and they don't have a job. They don't make any money, but I have a degree, so I should have a job. And that's where, for me, I was like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
But not everyone's like that. If I were to go back, though, I would think, like, on the college note, what I learned was that there were classes I learned things from. Accounting, finance, marketing. I had like this one marketing class that taught me you had to like write a whole entire article. It wasn't like 10-page paper. Yeah. You could only write it on a page and a half, but it would be like a deep topic. And if you were over a page and a half, you had to go in and delete and you had to make it more precise. That was the most valuable class I had.
100%.
So
because people don't understand how valuable like a page and a half can be. It's way more impressive to be able to turn a 5 pages worth of information into a page and a half.
Way
have
more
it be
valuable.
Comprehensible. That's impressive.
Yes.
A 5-page essay of just yip yap and nonsense is not impressive at all. Anyone can do that.
Correct. Yep. Absolutely.
Well, obviously, we've had some great topics so far, but for the last question, I think is one of the more deep questions, and it is, what keeps you up at night when it comes to running a sales team, managing family, kids, everything?
I think to this day, what keeps me up the most is wanting to be the ultimate version of myself. And I don't even know what that is yet. Like, nobody really does, right?
Figuring that out is really hard.
So I'm definitely up at night, what's the next version of me? How do I get to the next version of me? What's the next steps I need to make?
How do I make sure I'm progressing to be that person?
Yep. I would say almost daily I think about that. What's the next version of me? What are things I'm going to delete and become so that I can tap into that full, I don't know, I don't know if it's my own personal full potential. Yes, it is, but it's what's the ultimate, who could I become? I'm not that old.
Yeah,
I'm 33.
Yeah.
Not that old.
No, not at all.
I've got a lot to learn and figure out, and I think that I stay up just thinking what else can I do? Yeah. Typically once I do something, I do it well.
Yeah.
What else? What's next? What's the next version of me that I'm in pursuit of?
I think that's something that every single person who has the whole self-growth, I want to succeed, that whole mindset, I think that's something that everybody has.
Yeah.
Where you're constantly thinking about, am I doing enough? I just worked a 12-hour day nonstop.
Right.
But was it enough? How many hours was I wasting when I was working the full 12 hours? Questions like that are what more highly successful people are asking themselves.
Yeah.
When someone who might not have that whole, I want to be successful mindset would work a 12-hour day and be okay, I got a 12-hour day and perfect, I can go to bed.
Right.
Whereas, we're sitting here thinking if that 12-hour day was enough.
Was it enough? Am I doing enough? Am I on track? I would definitely think about my reps. I think about my family. Am I the dad I need to be? Maybe not all the time. Can I be better? How would I be better? How can I be better? All that stuff.
What
late
needs to be
night.
prioritized? Is it the wife? Is it the kids? Is it the business? Is it the sales reps?
Yep.
And it's all dependent on the time.
Yep. How do I manage it all? How do I do it better? What's tomorrow look like?
Yeah.
So that I can do that. Pretty common. Sick.
But dude.
Oh yeah.
That was a fire interview.
Hope so. Yeah, I don't even know.
A longer podcast than we've ever had, but dude, thank you so much.
Yeah, you can trim it up.